This video is distributed in collaboration with Bytelight.it and Italian Podcast Network. Hello, and welcome to the third appointment with LaTeX. Today we are going to talk about formatting text and comment groups. I would just like to start by giving you a few quick advices, actually by noting a couple of quick things. The first one is how LaTeX treats white spaces. In LaTeX, multiple white spaces and tabulation characters, and also every single return carriage, is collapsed into a single blank in a similar way to what HTML does. So, for example, this very simple document, which consists of a single sentence which contains a lot of spaces and tabulations, results into the following. As previously noted, newline characters are different. One single newline character acts as a blank, but as we already learned, two in a row actually start a new paragraph. You can use the fact that blanks are collapsed into a single one to your advantage to organize the file contents, for example equations, and make the file more readable. The second point I would like to make is that case matters. And I'm talking obviously about upper and lowercase letters. Every one of the following commands and any other possible combination of uppercase and lowercase letters actually represents a different command. The final note I would like to make regards errors and line numbers. Because LaTeX, like many other compilers, reports errors by line number and then by content, it is very important that you break your document into multiple lines, because it will make your life 1,000 times easier. It is also very important that you really split lines by using newline characters, and you do not just enable the word wrap function in your editor, because that doesn't really break lines. It only displays a single line on multiple lines on your monitor so that it is easier for you to edit it, but the file actually contains no carriage return. Now we are going to start with the real topic of this presentation, and that is formatting. In particular, it is important to notice that LaTeX has something that is close to semantic tags. It actually is one command, and that particular command is the emph command, which is used whenever you want to emphasize a piece of text. Now, I say that this is a semantic command because it is actually context aware, so an emphasized piece in a side title will look different from an emphasized text inside a normal paragraph. Now, LaTeX is no word processor, and we have already said that whenever you write a document in LaTeX, you should focus on the content and leave the typesetting to the compiler. But there are actually formatting commands available aside from the emphasis command, and that is actually how you create new styles, personalized looks for your documents, and we will slowly learn about it in the future presentations. Now, it is extremely important to point out once again that you should only really use formatting commands when it's strictly necessary, and let LaTeX do the rest. The most common commands that you can use to format your text are the following: text BF to make your text bold, text IT, which makes text italic, text SC, that makes all the contents, all the arguments into small capitals. Then you can change the font, be it text RM for Roman font or text TT, which is a short for typewriter, and this becomes a monospaced font. And you can also change the slanting of the text by using text up and text SL, which, as you might imagine, turn the text upright or slanted. We can also change the size of our text by using the following commands: \tiny, script size, footnote size, small, normal size, large, large with a capital L, large written in all capitals, huge, and huge with a capital H. Again, please notice how these are all different commands because LaTeX is case sensitive. You might wonder exactly why the size in points is predefined for all these commands. And this actually has something to do with the history of TeX and LaTeX. When TeX and LaTeX were born, it was not easy to achieve so-called true type fonts or vector fonts. It was not easy to decide an arbitrary size for the fonts. So what happened was that all the fonts were pre-rendered into bitmaps, and in order to save space and only provide the necessary data, a few base font size were selected, in particular 10, 11, and 12 points, and all the remaining sizes, say for example large or huge text, were defined on the grounds of these base font sizes. So for example, large text with respect to base font size 10 is 12 points, and large text with respect to base font size 12 is 14 points. Achieving real vector font behavior in LaTeX is possible, but we should use either different packages or a different compiler. In particular, I'm referring to LaTeX. So let's have a look at an example of a font size command. But we should first point out that formatting commands, when they have no arguments like the font sizes, actually change the active style. And so they affect all the text that comes after that command. So in this case, we have a small command, then this test is 2, then a large command and small to read. And the result is that this test is 2 is written in small size and small to read is written in large size. The font size commands also have corresponding environment forms. So for example, we could use the \begin large and \end large to limit the action of the command to the word small, like this. Obviously, using an environment in this way is a little cumbersome. Usually environments are employed for longer blocks of text. So how can we make it easier to apply very localized changes in font style? Well, here come into play comment groups. We can limit the effect of comments and not only format-related comments by creating groups. And groups are any non-comment part of a document that is enclosed within curly braces. Now remember that if instead we are using curly braces after a comment, that means that we are actually passing an argument to that comment, if the comment requires one. So for example, we could enclose \large and then the word small in between curly braces to create a group, and this would limit the action of the \large command to the small word. As for final tips regarding font formatting, the first one is that you should use the formatting commands very sparingly. I have already said it, but it is very, very important that you keep it in mind. Formatting your text in many different ways may look pretty, but it is actually not. It makes your text not readable at all. So trust LaTeX and trust the people who wrote the style files for you. Also, whenever possible, prefer the use of the semantic, context-aware env command instead of custom formatting. And that is because no matter what, if you use the env command, your text will look right. Finally, if you have to specify a very complex look for your font, say monospaced font, bold and slanted, instead of using different custom formatting comments altogether, it is also possible to specify custom comments. And this is something that I will explain extensively in future videos. The final tip for today is actually a web resource that I failed to mention on the first video. The resource I'm talking about is tech.stackexchange.com. It is a very active community where you can find questions and answers related to tech, LaTeX, 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 and so on. If you have a problem that you couldn't solve otherwise, make an account, log in, and post your question. But please remember to use the search function first, because most likely your question has already been answered. This is all for this video. Thank you for watching, and please leave any feedback in the comments. If you found this video useful, please click the like button. See you next time.